All the Smoke with Stephen and Matt Barnes, a great podcast, too. You know, I was saying earlier, if you considered everything, your age, your baggage, can you defend, your position, your maturity, your ability to close games, I would say if you told me I get every NBA player over the next 10 years to build around, I'd start with Giannis, I'd go to Luka, and I'd go to Tatum. And I think everybody agrees on the first two, Stephen, and they kind of bristle at Jason Tatum. And I'm like, he's the best free throw shooter for a great player in the league. He can defend like crazy on the wing. I mean, Jokic plays a position that, you know, just not as important. I don't trust Ja or Trae Young's size. They don't defend. Embiid's hurt. I think Tatum's amazing. You know, you were a wing player. Do you buy him? What do you make of Tatum's growth and who he is today?
Tatum is top 5 in the league right now. Top 5 player in the league. And it shows with his play. I mean, he's been – the reason why they're playing well now, they've been through the ups and downs already. They've been through the losing to LeBron in the playoffs and all that. So it's their time to shine. I think Boston knew the player they were getting, and he's blossoming into everything that they wanted. And it's showing that's why they're in the Eastern Conference Finals right now.
You know, Jimmy Butler's an interesting player. He's a great athlete. I don't consider him a great shooter, but he's just so damn athletic. I just want him on my team. Is there a way to defend Jimmy Butler? What would you force him to do?
I think the way he works on this game and the way he competes and his will to win is really nothing you can do. You just better you got to hope he have an off night. And that's what you do with most stars. You know, you can't really stop them. You try to make it difficult, but you just got to hope they have an off night. Jimmy's a competitor. And one thing I like about Jimmy, if his shot's not going, he does other things.
Yeah.
He plays defense, make plays for other guys. And I think that's what makes him so dangerous.
I'm going to take Boston because I think over the course of 6 or 7 games, they're going to get more good shots. I think they make it really difficult. And I don't love, Bam, Oladipo, I don't think they're great offensive players. So I think Boston's going to get more good looks, more good shots over the next week. I'd take them. Who do you like in the series and why?
I like Boston. I just think Tatum has more help than Jimmy Butler. I'm real confident in Jimmy Butler. I'm good friends with him, and I know the type of dog he is. And I even believe in Spoelstra, but Boston is the deeper team. You got the defensive player of the year, Marcus Smart. Brown is playing unbelievable. And when Tatum and Brown get to the point where they're both getting 25, 30 points each game, they're going to be hard to beat. Horford's coming in with his veteran leadership, playing great defense. A big reason why they're moving on to the next round. So they have the complete team. Shout out to the coach as well.
So something we have seen over the last several years, Stephen, is it used to always be the coach. A lot of times, maybe he played college basketball. He wasn't an NBA great. He had a system. There was a certain kind of prototype for a coach. And now we're seeing guys like Jason Kidd get a second or third chance. Kidd had a great series against Monty Williams. And I don't know, I go back to the teams you were with and the coaches. Does it matter that the coach played? Do you think Kidd has value to players based on his great career?
Well, I wouldn't say it matters, but it does matter because you have to play basketball somewhat, right? You have to know what a basketball play looks like. You have to know somewhat what the games look like in real time in your own experience. I definitely think coaches can coach and be great without playing basketball. But for me, the coaches that get the most out of their players, the coaches that are able to interact and understand their players and have great relationships with their players are guys who played the game, because a lot of the situations that they'll deal with during the course of the season or during the course of a game, that guy can tell you everything about it and can understand and relate to everything you're saying. Jay Kidd is one of the guys. He's been through every situation he could possibly be in as a player and as a coach. What better guy? And Monty Williams the same way.
Yeah, you had Ty Lue, you had Doc Rivers, so you had guys that played. Now, a lot of guys aren't into Doc. Were you a Doc fan?
Yeah, I was cool with Doc. I really appreciated Doc because for giving me another chance when people said I couldn't play. So I forever thank Doc for that. He hasn't looked the best, with being up 3-1 in series and stuff like that. But for the most part, Doc gets a lot of respect for how he played the game, and I think a lot of players still have great relationships with him, even though he don't get the respect he deserves all the time.
Listen, Chris Paul's always been one of those polarizing guys. Like, he barks. A lot of guys don't like it. He was, a lot of people thought he was chippy early in his career. It could be a little cheap. He's not beloved by everybody. He, Blake Griffin, DeAndre Jordan really struggled at times. And so, a week ago, he went 14 for 14 and the world loved him. And this week he struggled and the world, everybody's crushing him. What did you make of Patrick Beverley's criticism of him that he can't guard anybody and nobody is afraid of Chris Paul? How did that land for you?
Well, this is a what have you done for me lately world. You know what I mean? And they only love you more from your last game. Chris Paul's a Hall of Famer. Chris Paul's not one of those guys that's in this era of players that just want to be friends with everybody. He want to win, but he want to play basketball. And he's a tough-nosed guy. I think any guy that knows basketball would love to play with Chris Paul and be on his team and to go out there and go to war with him. Patrick Beverley, I mean, he's a competitor. He talks a lot, and that's what he does. But we all know, especially basketball players, Patrick Beverley game is super limited. Always been super limited. I think he do a great job of talking guys out their games at times. But I mean, people leave Patrick Beverley open on offense, so we don't really respect too much. You know what I'm saying? We don't really respect too much what he said about Chris Paul. I don't think nobody in basketball even respected that. But I like Patrick Beverley just off his passion for the game. But what he said about Chris Paul, totally out of line, and he not the one to say nothing like that anyway.
Yeah. Let's go to the Warriors-Mavericks series, which starts tomorrow. It's really interesting. I think I like Golden State, but they're a little old. Dre, Clay, Steph. There's been injuries. Poole's a really good player, but, Steven, he's not great yet because he's not as consistent. He'll give you 28 and then 8. I think they're going to have to play Kuminga and put him on Luka at least a little bit in this series because of his size. I think I like Golden State. What do you make of this series?
I like Golden State. I don't think Dallas has enough firepower to match the Warriors in scoring for 7 games. I think Steph's rolling. I think getting out of the Memphis series is a way for them to exhale and go into this round with more confidence. It's a different team, so the matchups and the game plan is going to be different. But for the most part, the way Clay's playing, the way Steph's playing, I think having these guys back, they know what the task at hand. These guys been here before. They know what it takes to get out of the Western Conference and go to the finals. And I think all these guys are focused on that. And this thing too, Herb, they might not get back here. I know they're thinking this is the opportunity that we got to take advantage of because we're going to know we're going to get here again. So I'm putting my money on Dallas. I'm putting my money on the Warriors to take care of business and use that experience.
It's interesting. Spencer Dinwiddie's a really nice player, but eventually they're going to have to find a great 2 if they want to make a run on this thing. And I watched Luka's game, and he's very ball dominant. And as a former pro athlete, not everybody's fun to play with. Durant would be fun to play with. Some guys are distributors. Some guys are just shot makers. With Luka, I watch Luka and I think, oh my God, he's got the ball in his hands. I feel like I'd be staring at him playing. I'd be observing him. I don't know if I'd get, how many shots would I get? When you look at Luka, can he play with another dominant scorer, in your opinion?
Well, I think he can. He doesn't have that now, so we can't see it, but I got to give J. Kidd credit. J. Kidd made sure that he played off the ball last game. I think that's why he had so much success and why he had so much space on this one-on-one. He played off the ball a lot. Dinwiddie had a great offensive game. They let Brunson do his ISOs, and with Luka in the game, Luka played off the ball. And I think J. Kidd understands that he can't be on the ball just dribbling the air out of it every play because the defense is going to sit in on him. Sometimes you got to let other guys get off and try to take some of the pressure off you, and then you can get off and have those one-on-one because nobody can guard Luka one-on-one. And that's what you're seeing with the Suns game.
I don't think these are great teams. They're not as good as your Spurs. I think I said yesterday, I think health could be a factor. None of these teams could afford a major injury. I mean, you go back to the Shaq Kobe teams, those guys couldn't stand each other. They had disharmony. It was a mess, but they were so good. They just bulldozed their way through it. Same with Jordan's Bulls, same with KD, Clay, and Steph and the Warriors. They could have problems behind the scenes. It didn't matter. They were just so good. These teams, I think these teams, who's healthiest? I think it could come down to, 2 6-7 game series. Is there a team you feel best about going into tonight?
For me, total package, I feel Boston. I think Boston has everything they need right now as far as from top to bottom. I kind of worry about the Warriors in the paint with Draymond being really the the only guy to be dominant in the paint and really understand the moment they're in with so many young guys. Looney's playing well. Hopefully he can step up. But for Dallas, I don't see any experience there besides Luka. J. Kidd can't play. You know, he can give his experience, but he can't play. And Jimmy, like I said, Jimmy Butler's by himself. You know, I don't know anybody without Kyle Lowry on the court who's ready to step up for that moment. We'll see if Bam Adebayo is ready. But for the most part, Boston is put together from top to bottom years ago for this moment, and it's showing.
Yeah, no, you make a good point. They've been through this thing. People tend to forget that Michael Jordan had 5 and 6 years of getting beat by the Celtics and beat by the Pistons. And that, like, Memphis is probably going to go through that for 3 or 4 years. They're going to get close, right. First round, second round, conference finals. Steven Jackson, the podcast is All the Smoke with Steven and Matt Barnes, both great. And I love seeing you again, man. Thanks.
Always fun having you.
All right. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.